and Kelly have negotiated special deals exclusively available for our members. So this is only available. You must be a member of Boston RIA in order to have access to these extra benefits. I'm going to go over what you get as a Boston RIA member and benefiting from these rebates available with the Pro Extra, Home Depot Pro Extra. So all of our members, they get to rebate 2% rebate biannually on all of their purchases. The minimum spend has to be $5,000 per period. So what that means, Home Depot has a set period that's from January 1st until June 30th, and then July 1st until December 31st. So it doesn't matter when you signed up. Let's say today is September and you signed up, so you only have until December 31st to make a purchases of $5,000 to qualify for that 2% rebate, of course, $5,000 or more. And how it works is that you get a Home Depot gift card for any rebates that's under $1,000. $1,000 or more, you get a check, a physical check in the mail, and that gets mailed out within 60 days from the closing day of each cycle. So always make sure your mailing address is updated with Home Depot so you will not lose your rebates. And okay, all right. Also, our members, they start at the gold tier for paint. So paint, what does that mean is that you get 20% of paint regardless to how much you spend, or so you can sign up tonight and then you have a project that the last piece of it that needs just paint, you can go tomorrow and you get 20% immediately. And how does it work is that you just you get that at the checkout. So how it works is that you enter your phone number on the paint pad, and then you get the 20% immediately. Now with that program, it is a reward, right? So in order for the system to know that you are a Boston RIA member, there is a code, and it also wants you to use a specific payment method, let's say a certain credit card. So if you swipe, and that's the only way you can get the 2%. So when you swipe that registered card, that's when you get the 2% accumulated at the 6 months after, after the cycle ends. So you get the 20% immediately at the checkout, and then you keep accumulating the 2% as you go until the cycle ends. The 20% of paint is applicable to paint, stain, and primer of a gallon or more. It doesn't apply to quartz or spray or any of that. And the good thing about that is that you can track your purchases for up to 24 months. Not like 2 years, but 24 months. Like September, you can go back in the September 2 year, go back 2 years, 24 months. Also, our members can get up to 20% off select Hampton Bay kitchen and bath cabinets if purchased 10 or more cabinets in a single transaction. How it works, you get 10% from National RIA, 10% from Home Depot. The best part is that you can stack those discounts with any other discounts going on at this particular store at the time of the purchases. So you at least guarantee 20%. And of course, pay with a registered card or registered payment method. They give you so many options, like 6 of them or so, like a checking account, a PayPal, a gift card, stuff like that, of course, with credit cards. So you will have plenty of options to register, and you can register as many cards or accounts as you want. Also, they have a volume pricing program or bidroom. This is absolutely fantastic for more or additional discounts. And it's very simple how it works. You need to prepare a list of large items that's gonna cost $1,500 or more in a single transaction. Bring your list to the pro desk, have them prepare a quote for you. And then once they do that, have them send it to the bidroom. Within a few minutes, is going to come back to you with any applied discounts for up to 15%. And you get that at the checkout. And then again, if you pay with that registered payment, payment method like a card or something, that's how you accumulate your 2%. The only thing that I wouldn't send through the bidroom is the paint, because you just get a better deal with the 20%. So the maximum of the bidroom is 15. So you get a better deal on the gold tier as a Boston REIA member. These numbers actually, Duncan update me with these numbers. So those are the most updated things. So in the past 6 months, Home Depot paid out to chapter members more than $500,000. Average rebate is almost $1,500. And actually, okay, fantastic. I still have that. Actually, one of our members, this is the 14 or like the $1,500 that average. It's an average. We have members that make a lot more than that. So February of this year, I was just this completely happened by accident. I was reaching out to that member to sign him up for Boston REIA. He was just renewing his membership, and I didn't know he was renewing. I thought he was new. And he said, no, you know, you did, you set it up a year ago when I joined, and I just got a check that was over $1,800 for my second 6 months for Pro Extra. So our members are, and of course I got his permission to share this. So those are real numbers. So those are the average numbers. This is one of, so people are making more than that. That alone is enough to buy you like memberships for many, many years in one cycle. This is Kelly's information. Please reach out to her, take a picture of the screen, text her, give her a call. As soon as you sign up, I will come in the picture and I'll help you. It's very simple. We do it directly from the website of Home Depot. It takes about 10 minutes. But everything has to match for this to work. So we need to start first being a member of Boston REIA and then become a member of Home Depot. All right, thank you so much.
Sarah, thank you very much once again. And what Sarah said, things have to match, they have to match. So whatever email you use with Boston REIA and whatever phone number you use with Boston REIA have to be the same in both the home Pro Extra and then and our membership database, because Home Depot does an audit every year. Even so, if you put that code in, people like to get that code and think they get the discount, but if they're not found within our system, they don't get it. So always make sure they match. And if you don't get your bonus at the end of the year or at the middle of the year, please reach out to us to sort that out. And we will make sure you get your cash back. And that was only the cash back. Remember the discounts. And I also just want to mention very quickly that you can stack your military discounts if you are a member of active military veteran on top of those also. So, if you haven't signed up for if you are military, haven't signed up for the Pro Extra account yet, please link your military ID to your account. So, thanks again, Sarah, for the Home Depot discount, your investor friendly REIA, and our Home Depot contact person. Yes. So let me just get back to my screen here, moving it along. Oh, going the right direction. And just very quickly, we have many, many discounts like that, from insurance products to Office Depot, 25% off, many things. Get your signs, Rent Perfect. Instead of, that's a background check. You can get started for 95 cents setup fee. And Rent Perfect does all the background checks for you, and you don't have to worry about pulling records and all that sort of stuff. So they go through it like a detective and will basically tell you this is a good tenant, this is a bad tenant. But we have many, many other options, and they're all on our website. And membership with the Boston REIA gives you all of this included. So you score with that. So our goal is, if you're serious about making money, to make you money and to save you money. So our yearly membership is $320 per year for single, $450 for couples. If you only want the Home Depot benefits only, that's $140. Again, text Kelly 864-906-4111 for more information to join. So this is the good stuff. We got you through all the announcements and all that. Galter has been around for a long time, and in real estate years, that's probably what, about 8, 9 years. I think he's been in
16
real estate.
years.
How many?
16.
Oh my gosh, you look so young. Um, so in that time, he has made millions. He's been a speaker. He actually helped us bring the Boston Area back from COVID for a year, being our MC. But he's also a best-selling author, a renowned real estate investor. He wrote 2 good books, Broke to $250,000 and The Real Estate Alchemist, Get the Deal. I am seeing more and more and more of his people making, I mean, I literally see him all over the place now in the Alchemist Nation. And his program, Get the Deal, is making waves. So, yep, that's him up there on stage. You see him in front of you. Great guy all around, uh, great real estate investor. So, has many things to share with you tonight. So, please stay on to the very end. He does like interaction and to answer questions. So, I'm not going to stop him. I'm going to hand over the meeting to him. And get your pen and paper handy and get ready to take lots of notes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Duncan. It is an honor to be back in Boston hanging out with our community. Let's give Duncan Weirman, Kelly Weirman, and Sarah a round of applause for all the work they do with the Boston RIA for the last decades. It's been decades now that the Boston RIA has been around. Before we get started, Duncan didn't lie. So I am a very interactive speaker. What that means is if your camera is off, I'm going to turn my camera off and I'm going to stop talking and I'll walk away. But if your cameras are turned on, my energy goes up. I'll probably teach a little extra. I'll give some extra juice to add to the fire or the flame of this. I was financially free by 30, a millionaire by 32, and a multimillionaire by 34. I'm now 38. Just had my first son. I'll probably show you some pictures of him because I'm a doting father. And my mission is to build millionaires. I started off with this simple mission of build 100 millionaires. And then later on, I upgraded the mission, said build 100 millionaires who are inspired to build 100 millionaires. And then I met Vinny Chopra. Vinny Chopra is a billionaire himself. He came to this country with $7 in his wallet, and then he invested in real estate. At the age of 54, he was already a millionaire, but his wife told him, you can't spend more than $1,000 investing in multifamilies because she was scared he would lose it all. Show of hands if you're familiar with spouses being afraid that you'd lose everything. They built a great life for themselves. And Vinny said, okay, I got to get into this. So what did he do with that $1,000? He bought, you guessed it, a course. It was Dave Lindahl's course. He went to the event. It was a 3-day event. And at Dave Lindahl's course, what did Dave Lindahl do? Well, you guessed it. He sold a $40,000 program. And so he had his wife in the background saying, you can't spend more than $1,000. He's already spent the $1,000. What did he learn at that course? How to use other people's money. So he found an investor who invested $200,000 with him. He took that $200,000. He grabbed 3 other partners and he paid for his course and their courses. 3 months later, 2 of those partners disappeared. There goes $80,000 invested of not his money, other people's money. What happened over the next 14 years is Vinny raised $280 million and purchased $1.6 billion worth of real estate. His wife, to this day, says that that $1,000 was the best investment of their lives. So if you understand, the spouse is usually right. She says you're only. It made him get creative. So as we're jumping in, let's turn the cameras on. I see Alan's got the camera off. Let's switch it up. Alex, Brandon's already on. Also, let's give Brandon a round of applause. Janice, I see you. Thank you. Keep the camera on. We're going to be very interactive today. Sarah, thank you for having the camera on. Cliff, Hippolyte, up in Brockton. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for keeping the camera on for us. Celeste, Chris Johnson, Hannah, oh, 2 Hannahs, Hannah Rogers, Hannah David, Janice, Jill, Liz, Marcelo, Patience, Richard, Rick, Stan, Steve, and Trisha. Let's get those cameras on. It's not for you, it's for me. By the way, Richard, great to see you. Is that your son there with you? Richard, you don't look, you haven't changed a bit since the first time I met you in the Boston area. You look exactly the same.
And you look like you've lost your ages. You got younger.
Thank you, sir.
And this is my son, William. Yes, you're right.
William, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. So you know, Your dad lent me money like 6 years ago, and I think, Richard, you still get that check every single day in the mail, correct?
Not every day,
I'm
every
sorry,
month.
every month. Direct
Every month.
deposit now.
Yep.
You're right. We updated from mail to direct deposit. Let's give Richard Foreman a round of applause. You might. I'm going to tie you into the story tonight. I'm going to tie you into the story tonight. Show fans if that's all right. If I talk about how good investors can meet people at networking events. Excellent. Awesome. All right. So leveraging networking events is part of the topic tonight. Before we get started, thank you, Chris, for turning your camera on. Patience, Celeste, Richard, Alex. Appreciate it. It's so good to see you. And Jill from Clearly Remax. Oh my God. Talk about a virtual background that tells you exactly what a person does. Fantastic. I love marketing. It's a great idea. In real estate investing, it's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. Who's heard the lie? It's all about who you know. Show fans, you've heard that lie. Yes. And we probably believed it because in some levels, we've seen that who we know has actually created a great impact for us. But it's not about who you know. It's about who knows you and very specifically what they know you for. If people know you, but they know you as the person who works at Walgreens or the person who used to work at the mill or used to work at the diamond jeweler store, that doesn't help you in your real estate investing career. People need to know what you've been doing in real estate. There are people on this call who've been doing flips, who've been doing buy and hold. I was just talking about Rich Foreman earlier. Dude bought mills. He owned commercial properties and sold some of those properties. But if you ever talk to Richard, he'll never tell you that, which is why Richard doesn't have as much business as he would if he was out there bragging. William, take the note. Talk about your dad for you, for him. And so real estate investors and entrepreneurs and agents, a lot of times we kind of get lost. And if people don't know us, they can't bring us deals and they can't bring us capital. Show of hands if you'd like more deals and more capital in this market right now. And I mean deals, I don't mean properties. I mean cash flowing assets, things that would bring in money. So tonight on this talk, we're going to talk a little bit about how to get known a little bit better and not in a because if you follow my Facebook, it's very flashy. There's a lot of stuff that I do. It doesn't have to be that way. That's my own personal fun. That's my hobby. My relationships have been through communication and one-on-one interactions. I'm not a huge fan of business cards. In fact, I kind of don't like them at all. I like phone numbers. I like relationships. I know if I wanted to call anybody on this call and I said, hey, by the way, I got a great deal, you'd probably pick up. Show of hands if that's true for you. If there was a deal involved, yeah. But if I saw your business card, how would I know? How would I know there's a deal? How do I know that you're an opportunity, especially if you're a realtor or an investor? Show of hands, there's a lot of realtors and investors in the market who all sound the same. We all sound the same. We all got the same stuff. Well, tonight I will touch on that a little bit on how to differentiate yourself, but primarily I'm going to focus on cash flowing assets, on how to acquire cash flowing assets. I'm going to go bonus because Duncan basically teased me into doing it. I'm going to go a little extra since there's so many people with the cameras on tonight. I'm going to talk about the 4 different types of leverage that we need as investors. And I'm talking about wealth stacking. Financial freedom is designed by you. I have a billionaire friend. He's not a billionaire. Let me take this back. He only owns $800 million worth of real estate. Show of hands if we agree that's not a billionaire. But he's close. And if he keeps it up, he'll probably get there. He's also a CPA. And his experience has built him so much. He's a great manager. By the way, write this down for real estate investors who really want to level up. Leadership skills are going to be more important than your ability to evaluate a property. Leadership skills will be more important than your ability to swing the hammer or fix a property. Leadership skills will be more important than your ability to raise capital. Leadership skills are how you scale a business and how you scale your real estate business. He has 4,800 units that he owns with just his wife. We just heard 4,800 units must have been a syndication, must have been like we believe that Grant Cardone has that sort of number. This gentleman did it with just his wife. He did it over a 34-year period, a long time. So he learned along the way. But he has a philosophy and a message and a belief system that I want to share with you tonight before we get started. And that is you get what you manage for. In life, you get what you manage for. You don't necessarily get what you believe is possible. You don't necessarily get what you read in a book. You don't necessarily get what other people have. You get what you manage for. Who here has ever planned for a vacation before and it went pretty much close to what you managed, right? You at least showed up to the venue. Maybe it didn't all work out the way you wanted to, but you at least got to the place and then you ate in a restaurant or you ate venue food and you went through the experience, the general experience that you expect. Show of hands, that went for your vacation? Excellent. Has anybody had a vacation where you were like, I'm going on vacation, and then the flight took you back home without ever going to the place? Has everybody had an airplane turn around? Has anybody had that experience? It's weird because what we manage for, we tend to get in life. And yet most people don't take the time to manage their assets or manage their financial freedom. Tonight, I want to talk about what I believe is the most important component to your financial life and even in your relationships and your friendships, which is going to be your financial freedom. And before I ask you if you believe it's important, let me share. I just had my son is now 13 weeks old as of today. So every Thursday is his birthday. So every Thursday is the day that I go, wow, like one more week, we've made it another week. And he is absolutely the most rewarding asset in my life. He's the most rewarding investment of my life. And I can say this, he's also the easiest thing I've ever done. Out of all of my life experiences, real estate investing has been way harder. So I want to be very honest and transparent. Building businesses, at my peak, I owned 12 businesses. I'm down to 4. That is absolutely harder. My son is a smaller, easier component to management because he at least loves me no matter what. My portfolio doesn't always feel that way about me. My tenants don't always feel that way about me. My partners, my staff, my vendors, they don't always love me no matter what. Show of hands if you recognize family will be there no matter what. So we want to make time for them. Financial freedom buys you that time. It buys you that ability to spend time with other people. So who here agrees financial freedom is worth fighting for and it's worth doing uncomfortable things for? And it's something we should talk about. I called my dad the other day. He's 64 years old, not financially free. He's watched me invest for the last 16 years. He was afraid to make moves because of the belief systems that he had. We called them BS, belief systems. Belief systems he had about money and about real estate. Fortunately, he passed on to me something really valuable. He said, son, all the rich people own real estate. You should do that. Now, I was 12 years old, and I said to my dad, how much real estate do we own? He said, none. We own none. He said, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, son, so you can't make those. Whoever believes that you can take advice from somebody who didn't do it themselves, but they'd give you some good advice sometimes. It's not all the time. And I don't suggest taking advice from people who don't have what you want. But as a child, it was my blessing. I did the opposite of what my parents did because my parents weren't financially free. My parents weren't financially savvy. So it blessed me. He blessed me with the gift of saying, don't listen to me on financial advice. Do everything I didn't do, which meant it was okay for me to go and invest in real estate. It meant it was okay for me to start businesses. And one other lesson my dad gave me about financial freedom that he didn't know he was giving me. My dad failed his first business and never opened another business again. He failed his business within 8 months. And he told me, he said, my biggest mistake with that business was I brought in the wrong partner and I didn't stick with it. If I'd brought in a better partner or had gotten rid of that partner and I just did it myself and then hired people, and if I'd stuck with it, he said, son, I'd be a multimillionaire today. Who here knows people like that? Wonderful people, beautiful people who deserve financial freedom that just couldn't get out of their own ways. So that is my why. I fight for the individual who knows that there's a better way to do this, but hasn't quite had the relationships or hasn't quite had the knowledge put in front of them. In fact, I'll share a little bit about my story. Was that okay if I share a little bit about my story before we dive in? All right, cool. And yeah. Oh, this is a fun talk. By the way, if you are in Alchemist Nation, thank you for your commitment to yourself and to your continued development. If it wasn't for real estate investors striving to do better, I probably would be on an island sipping pina coladas and reading books. But because real estate investors seem to continuously have challenges and run into, if it wasn't for the gurus, by the way, who here knows Pace Morby? Heard of Pace Morby? I know Pace Morby personally. He does not exclusively do Subject 2. I want to be very clear. He runs the Sub 2 community. That's not all he does. I've met Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone does not exclusively only work with certain types of people. Grant will take anybody's money. So fans were familiar with the videos and the messages people put out. There's a different person behind all of that social media. And so their lifestyle, where they're at, is different from where you're at. Do not do the things they're doing today. You have to do the things that they did when they first got started, which is hard work. Show fence, we understand it's hard work. There's no easy way to the top. And like I said, my son is by far The most rewarding and easiest thing I've done. Business will be the hardest thing you do. And if you have young children, I'm telling you, I don't know how people do it if they're not financially free. It is a lot of work. Parents, show of hands if you recognize what I'm talking about. Children are a lot of work, and they're worth it. They're absolutely worth it. Being able to spend more time with them, that is worth fighting for. So even though it will be difficult, it is worth it. So tonight we're going to talk about your path to financial freedom, leveraging equity in real estate. Before we get started, there's a quick video I ask everybody to watch.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more. Who watched The Matrix? By show of hands, who's familiar with that movie? And the philosophy inside The Matrix was that there was a world outside of the world that everybody was living in. We could look at the financial world and say that there is actually a code behind it all that runs the whole machine. And unlike The Matrix, there's no one evil person behind it running it. It's just an algorithm. It's just human society has built certain laws and rules that if you understand them, suddenly you can dodge bullets. Or as Neo said, Morpheus said, when we're done with you, you won't need to dodge bullets. Show fans remember that scene in the movie. Little nerd in the room here. I love it. Awesome. All right, let's dive into it. So real estate alchemy, it takes the right knowledge, the right network, and the right accountability. People too often say that knowledge is power. Knowledge truly is just power. It's like a battery inside a Tesla. Power itself is just power. It's like having electrical storms. For years, for centuries, we had electricity raining down on us. We had the sun raining down on us, and human civilization had not learned how to harness the power. So fans, if you know, a lot of people are really smart who are really broke. Really educated people can be really broke because knowledge alone is not the only thing you need. You also need a network. Networks and business vehicles are very much like a Tesla. So you can have the power of the battery and then the vehicle itself to drive it. But if you don't have a driver who knows where they're going, well, the vehicle just sits in the garage. The Teslas will actually drive themselves. So they'll kind of maybe just go in circles. Accountability, which can be yourself holding yourself accountable, or the GPS in the version of a car, and the driver are necessary for you to get to where you want to go financially. And it's the same exact thing that we see in life. Most people never set a destination or never commit enough to get into the car and drive their vehicle to get there. Show of hands if you know people who talk about wealth and never did the steps to get the wealth. Yeah. Some people talk about wealth and never even opened the wealth book to see the instructions of how to use it. There's a manual inside every vehicle, and most of us don't open the manual to our lives. Who here has looked at the manual in one of their vehicles, one of the purchases at some point and realized, okay, that's the horn, that's the steering wheel, all I need to know. All right. A lot of people kind of do that with life. And with a vehicle, it's kind of okay to do that because they dumb them down for us. But for some reason in the financial sector, nobody's really dumbed it down for us. So that's my goal tonight, is to make it very simple so you know the 3 things you have to do in order to be successful in any career, as long as we're wealth stacking. I'll talk about wealth stacking at the end of the night. Is that cool? If I talk about wealth stacking, if I talk about the 4 types of leverage that you need, excellent. And what's nice about this is they're accessible to everybody. You don't need specialized knowledge, but you do need maximum amounts of commitment in order to get behind the wheel or get somebody else behind the wheel to drive you to your destination. Has anybody ever taken an Uber? So you didn't even have to know how to drive, right? So that's where other people come into play. Cool. All right, let's dive into it. Coaches, mentors, masterminds. This has been part of my leverage of life. We're part of that inside the Boston RIA. So let's dive into the 4-minute mile. There was, legends has it that experts said for years the human body was simply not capable of a 4-minute mile, just couldn't be done. And then Roger Bannister in 1965 did break the 4-minute mile. What very few people don't know, because a lot of people talk about this story, what most people don't know is how Roger Bannister did it. He broke down the 4-minute mile and he broke it down into quarter miles. And then all he had to do was run a quarter mile in 1 minute. And so as soon as he was able to establish a quarter mile in a minute, he kept running. He just did the next quarter mile and then the next quarter mile. So he focused all of his energy on just the smallest implementable milestone. And if he could nail it at maximum speed, nail that, then all he had to do it was one more time in his mind. Show of hands if you understand that's possible for real estate investing. If I can just set the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one, the compound effect will take care of us. That's why habits are so important. What's really important about the story is that the psychology of the human mind is that as soon as somebody had beaten the record, everybody believed it was possible. And 46 days later, John Landy broke the same exact record because belief is actually what stops most people from ever becoming successful. Not only do they not set a goal, they may set goals, they may set smart goals, but they don't believe that it's possible. So they never pick up the first step. They never pick up their leg and start moving in the right direction. So my 4 minute mile was broken by this man named Jim. Jim was financially free. He was a realtor. He only worked with clients for fun. He flipped a property in my city, Fall River, for an $80,000 profit. At the time, it seemed like a lot to me. And he owned 13 rental properties in my hometown. At the time, that seemed like a lot to me. It seemed like everything to me because he was financially free. He taught me something. He didn't do it on purpose. He didn't know he was doing it, but he taught me the 7 steps to names on deeds. That is, choose a strategy, choose in a location, find deals, evaluate property, submit offers, fund the deal, and then manage the deal. Please take a screenshot. I know your subconscious mind's like, oh, remember this. No, you won't. How do I know this? I've taught this for 6 years. And every time I'm on a call, I'm like, hey, who knows the 7 steps to names on deeds? And everybody messes it up. I have yet to have a single person start with strategy. Most people remember, what do they remember? Location. For some reason, the world is hell-bent on location. But if you don't know the right strategy, you'll never be able to pick the right location. For instance, if I was looking to buy commercial mills, like Richard Foreman did, I wouldn't look in Florida, where they don't have commercial mills. I would look in New England, where that was something that was developed. If I was looking to buy mobile homes, mobile home parks, I wouldn't look in New England because that's something that is scarce, very unavailable there. I'd look in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Arizona, Louisiana. I would look at states that invented that type of inventory. If I want to invest in condos, I wouldn't invest in the Midwest. I would look for the eastern coasts. I would look on the western coasts, California, Florida, Miami, Boston, New York. Those are areas that had a bunch of condos. Show of hands if you understand. Strategy first, then location. Because why would you invest in an area that doesn't have your strategy? That would be crazy. Anyway, my rant is over. Take a screenshot. It's yours. So my first year in real estate investing was small. Man, I was a small fry. I had nothing. I had literally no money. I was investing owner occupied. I had a single family home. I sold it. My wife hated that about like, by the way, that was the end of my relationship, I think. I sold the single family home that we built together. And I went and I bought this 3-family on the left side here for $157,000. Later on, it was appraised at $250,000, and today it's appraised at $700,000. Show of hands if you wish I wish I kept it. Sometimes I do. But I bought the house right next door to it 6 months later for $109,000. Again, house appraised at $240,000, and then eventually the house is now worth $500,000. Show of hands if you know, I live with some regrets. There are some things I sold that I wish I kept. I sold both these at $250,000 each, and I made a profit of somewhere around $300,000 from the sale of those 2 properties. That really launched my career. But before I did that, before I sold those properties, I got into a divorce. So my lesson to all young people on this call and all married people is before you go and think about real estate investing, think about investing in the most important asset in your life, your spouse and yourself. If you're not happy with you, you're never going to be happy with your spouse. Show of hands if you already know this. You don't need some bald guy to tell you that relationships are really important. But I'm telling you from my own personal experience, most financial challenges come from divorce. So it's really, 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 really important that you keep that shit together. Focus, listen, and pay attention, and be willing to compromise until you found a better way to get financial freedom and the money that they want to spend. Show of hands if that's usually the number one reason people fight. Somebody wants to save and somebody wants to spend, or they want to spend on different things. So we have to learn communication. That never goes away because if it's not your spouse, it will be your business partners. So fans, we understand leadership's really important here. Leadership is the ability to communicate with others about goals that are important for both people when they have different opinions on how to get there. Yeah, so 2015, I was starting all over, alone, unemployed, broke, in massive credit card debt. But one thing was true. In the divorce, I kept the real estate. I did. But I lost all the cash. I lost my 401k. I lost my cash. I went into credit card debt. Everything. I borrowed money from my parents, from my brother. Not a lot of money, by the way. My parents didn't have a lot of money. I just borrowed 5,000 from my brother, 10,000 from my dad, and I just did everything I could to buy her out of the equity of the properties. Fortunately, 2 years later, I was able to refinance those properties and sold one of them, and I started turning things around. Show of hands if no matter how bad things get, you can turn it around. Awesome. Excellent. So I made a commitment. I was sitting on a bucket thinking about taking my life, and I said, when I figure this money thing out, I will share the knowledge with as many people as possible. I'm still doing that today. So just give me a round of applause for still being here, still doing it. I appreciate it. I know. I told you, very interactive. I like to see your claps. Thank you. So how did I do a 2-year comeback? I met this coach, Tom Caffarella. He is in Boston. He runs Ocean City Development, Cameron Real Estate Group. Show of hands if you know who Tommy is. All right. Absolutely. So Tom took me under his wing. And Tom's not the kind of person who mentors just anybody. Tom only mentors people who are hard workers, hustlers. And Tom told me, he said, look, I got 100 agents. If you want one-on-one attention, because I was like, how do I get one-on-one attention from you? He said, if you want one-on-one attention, you need to be in my top 10 agents. And so I just said, I'm going after that. I'll be one of your top 10 agents. I said, how do I become a top 10 agent? I said, go on to my appointments, take listings, bring in buyers, raise capital for me. And I was like, check. I don't know how to do any of these 3 things, but I'm on it. If you tell me what to do, I will go do the thing. And within the first year, I did 22 transactions for Tom. And then the next year I did 50. And then the third year I did 100. And Tom helped me raise a team of 25 agents. I partnered with Ron Bowling because Tom told me to. He said, you need a partner. Stop trying to do things by yourself. So I partnered with Ron. We bought $5 million of real estate in 2 years, 1 year after signing up with Tommy Caffarella, taking that coaching, going through the process. And we began mentoring investors in our spare time. Who here believes you'd also help others in your spare time? Whether it's family, it's friends, it's people who ask questions. Mentoring doesn't have to be build a program or a course. It's just if somebody asks you to say, yeah, this is what I would do. This is what I did before. This is what works. So I believe you should pay it forward, which is what I'm doing tonight. So how did I buy $5 million worth of real estate in only 2 years after being completely ruined? The abundance of real estate. It is an awareness that happened to me accidentally. That's by my first multifamily house right there, $250,000 when I sold it. And right across the street was another house my buddy bought because as a real estate investor who's investor friendly, like Sarah Ibram is, I was connecting with all the investors in my city and finding out what they were doing, what the deals were. And I was trying my best to help them buy stuff. And then I bought this house right here. That was the other house I bought, the second one that I showed you. And then this one across the street, I sold as a realtor. So I'm driving down this street and I'm looking on either side of the road. I'm like, $250,000, both sides, $500,000. And then as I get down, by the way, I bought this house too. I bought this house right here for 170,000. Later on, I sold it for 360. And then this house right here, I sold as an agent for $500,000 right on this little street. So if you see on either side, it was $1 million worth of real estate at the time. Now it's $3 million worth of real estate on the same exact street. And I came back to a conversation with my father. Again, my father was full of great advice, even if he didn't take it himself. And he said, the person who owns the real estate gets all the rents. And for a moment, I had one of those moments of clarity, which I think are rare for human existence. But sometimes we have these moments where it's just like divine, whatever, the mind just puts it all together. And I realized all I had to do was put my name on deeds. And then later on, I made a rule for myself. I said, as long as it's moral, ethical, and legal, as long as it's moral, ethical, and legal, all I have to do is talk to the seller and find out what they want. And in many cases, I have found that I didn't need to bring money to the table. I needed to bring time to the table. I needed to bring a certain type of result to the table. I needed to make sure that they could sell their asset tax-free and still get paid and protect their children so that their children would get paid if something ever happened to the owner. or now the new note holder. Show of hands if that makes sense to you. Names on deeds and do everything morally, ethically, and legally so you get to keep it. I got a friend who's the mayor of Fall River who's in jail right now because he forgot this one. Show of hands if you understand morally, ethically, and legally. It's not a game. This is your life. Follow the effing rules. Yeah, I used to smoke cigars with the mayor of Fall River, and he never, ever talked about the shady shit he was doing. He would only talk about positive things for the city. So I took all that information, I brought it up to Boston, told all my investors in Boston, train's coming. Guess what? The train's here. And my properties have skyrocketed. So even though the mayor was, did some shady stuff, I got a lot of good information out of him. So you got to go all in on real estate. Here's what not going all in looks like. Here's what going all in looks like. This is actually a house in Westport, Massachusetts, and my buddy owns it. At the time of taking this picture, it is 80,000 light bulbs. Now he's up to 120,000 light bulbs. He's a real estate investor with over 40 units. He owns 9 subways with his wife. And when I say he owns, let me be very clear. I'm pretty sure his wife runs the whole business. And Steve is married to her and does a lot of the work, but it's her who started the subways, her who started real estate investing. Show of hands if you understand, women are very good at real estate investing as well. Very, very good at relationships, which is what the whole business is about. So what else does it mean to go all in? That's not going all in. That would be running away from a commitment. That's going all in, staying all in 5 times. All right, so Tony Robbins talks about if you want to take the island, you got to burn the boats. We got to burn the boats with some of our belief systems. And one of the belief systems that takes out investors is analysis paralysis, which is defined as an inability to make decisions due to overthinking a problem. And the reason this happens to us is because the process of choosing an investment is particularly prone to analysis paralysis. And when I say investment, that's normal investments. Real estate's more complex because of location, because of property type, and because of tenants. Show of hands if you understand that's more to analysis paralysis, which is why real estate is harder to get into for people who are very analytical minds. So there has to be a component of understanding the numbers, but there also has to be a component of, I submitted an offer, I bought the property, and now we figure it out. That's why we put very, very low offers in. So even if we mess up a little bit, we bought it so well that we can make it up. Show of hands if you commit to only good deals, only doing good deals. Excellent. I saw the liability disclosure at the beginning. My liability disclosure is if it doesn't cash flow, you don't buy it. I said that always. And if you're not buying with equity, you don't buy it. I'm always going to say that. So you never, ever, if you've ever been on one of my webinars, you're not allowed to buy a bad deal. Show of hands if you commit, never buy a bad deal. Good deals only. Perfect. Boston Rio, we're safe. They committed to own their own results. All right, before we get any further, I did make a commitment to teach leverage. Queer believes that leverage is a tool of the rich. Queer believes leverage is a tool of everybody. I believe it was Aristotle that said, give me a long enough rod and a pivot point and I can move the earth. So if we understand leverage and we put ourselves in a position of leverage, we can move our financial career from wherever it is today to a better position. Maybe not today, but tomorrow or soon. So next one. This is very educational, this next one. So I want to be very careful with my people who are entertain me types. So if you're one of those who has a hard time with slides that are complex, this slide is not complex, but it is important. So give me, oh, I lost it. Hold on. Slide coming up. There we go. So the relevance of this slide is that, oh, I hit duplicate. Give me a second, guys. Drop in the chat. What is your experience with PowerPoint? Who is a master PowerPoint person? Drop in chat if you're really good at it. And if you're mediocre, you could say I'm mediocre. So you and I can have something in common right now. Drop in the chat. Who's really, 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 really good at PowerPoints? Mediocre. You and me both,
I think
Dorina.
Duncan and Sarah would both be good, especially probably Duncan.
No, I suck basic. I can type and insert a picture.
Let me share what happened. I was putting it on, I got two screens and I kept putting it on the wrong screen and I couldn't get it to swap back. So in order to understand leverage, before we do that, I want you to understand the technique behind leverage. This is the technical slide. I have people who argue with me on this all the time. So if we're talking about grants and credits, I want you to know they all fall under active income. There are 7 types of streams of income. These are very important for us to understand because there are no others. And I want to very quickly review them with you so that any kind of thought in your head of I'm going to go after 2 of those is eliminated until you've mastered one of them. The first being active income. This is income from your own efforts. This would be if you're a realtor, if you're doing flips, actually flips, yep, still active income. If you are doing any kind of job for somebody else, if you're self-employed, all active income. If the money stops when you stop, that is considered active income. Grants from the government, credits, if that requires an application process for somebody to get it and it ends at some point, has to be renewed, all active income. Show of hands, we're going to say an active income. We don't like active income. It's taxed the most. And it also takes the most of our time. So the worst tax is your time tax. So we don't want to be taxed our time or our money. Second, rental income. This comes from, you guessed it, rental properties. This is a great form of income because it also comes with depreciation, amortization, and appreciation. Sometimes, not in all markets, but totally in Boston. The third stream of income is dividends. This comes from publicly traded companies or paper assets. And this is not necessarily for beginners. This would be income for later on. I'll talk about the benefits of each of these income streams in a moment. Profits come from a business. Now, many of you self-employed folks will say, I own a business. Can you walk away from it? If you cannot walk away from it, you do not own a business. You're self-employed. You have a job. You may have employees, but you're technically not running a business if you can't sell the business, if you can't walk away from the business. And many entrepreneurs, if you don't hire the right management, end up in a position of a job. Show of hands if you're familiar with that, how that works, how businesses sometimes feel like a job and you end up back in them again. So business profits. Capital gains, this is from the sale of assets. Capital gains requires either having real estate or having a business or having massive amounts of stocks. You can pay capital gains for any asset sold. And it's really nice. Capital gains are taxed better than income tax. Interest. Interest comes from having money lent out, money that is moving and acting for you. And royalties. Royalties come from your brand. It comes from activities that you've built or names that you've created or assets you've built that, in fact, my books pay royalties. That is a type of income whenever I sell a course or when I sell the book, or when somebody else sells one of my courses or books, those are royalty income. Let's quickly review these. Active income, everybody knows how to do that. Cool. That's my least favorite because it involves you the most. All other 6 involve you a whole lot less. Show of hands, if you understand, fine. Freedom's about not you. In fact, I used to say GNN stands for Gwalter not needed. You may want to write that down. If you're Sarah, you might want to say SNN, Sarah not needed. And Sarah, it's possible. You hire a bunch of realtors and you hire a virtual assistant and transaction coordinator and bam, you are out of the business as long as you got the marketing funnel going forever and ever. So it is possible in any business. Rental properties take little to no money down if you are damn good at what you do. It is possible to buy houses with no money down through agency debt or asset-based lending. It is possible to buy a house with no money down through hard money loans. It is possible to buy a house with no money down using credit cards, using HELOCs, using equity from other properties. It is possible to buy house with no money down in a lot of different ways. So I do look at real estate as one of the low equity required to start, but also very big in growth capacity. The next would be profits, is very similar to that. Business also sometimes requires very little equity to start, but a lot of effort to get to the point where it's big enough where you could sell it or it passes cash flow. Dividends, however, dividends and interest both require massive loads of capital that the bank doesn't give you. Whereas business, the banks like to lend on business, and real estate, the banks love to lend on real estate. They like business, but they love real estate. Show of hands if you're familiar, the whole American economy is built on business and real estate. That's why the government subsidizes it. That's why banks will finance it. Excellent. Capital gains. Well, capital gains are tricky. You have to have assets. So if you don't have real estate, a business, or lots of stocks, you don't end up getting the access to capital gains. So they're a stream of income that comes later on. But I have condos that I purchased and I sell 2 a year. And so that capital gains has become a form of passive income because it's just a matter of send an email to the investor, to the agent, and the agent goes and sells the property. The agent, by the way, is my dad. How cool is that? My business, my dad. My dad gets paid every time he closes one of my deals. I love it. Keeping it in the family. I'm all about the relationships. Number 7, royalties. Man, you don't ever have to worry about royalties unless you're like a super rock star on Facebook, TikTok, or Twitter. This one, I would say, as an average person, please just ignore it. Don't try to buy into any of that. It takes so much knowledge and marketing that royalties are not worth getting into. With the side, I will just change one statement. If you build a great business and you sell the business and you keep a royalty component to the business, royalties back at you. So fans of royalties are now a great stream of income if you're a business owner. Please do not sell a business without keeping some sort of royalties. It would be insanity. Valuable slide so far. Financial freedom comes from getting one of the bottom 6. Remember, royalties take building a business and then selling the business. So there'll be capital gains and there'll be cash flow and profits, and then eventually you'll get to royalties. Same with real estate. It takes buying or building the real estate, cash flowing the real estate, and then eventually selling the real estate and to invest in either interest notes or investing into dividends or investing into something that would provide you royalties like a business. So fans, we understand you can't do it through active income, but if you do have active income, don't stop. You need to pay your bills. The first thing you want to do is reduce expenses so your active income buys you more time so you can work less. If you don't have time, it's really hard to invest in assets. Show of hands if you agree on that too. Time, money takes some time. It does. To educate yourself mostly. So 5 types of leverage. First, people leverage. This is labor, skills, and knowledge. So why leadership is the most important skill in my book for you to level up in anything. Number 2, money leverage. This capital, credit, cash flow. If you have bad credit, please pay off your bills. Please just get your credit right. It is so important. I just got an 826 score. You know what you do with an 826 score? Request credit lines on your businesses because I don't need it. I don't need the credit. That's the best time to go and get business lines of credit. Please, please get business lines of credit. It's so, so important. Please, 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 please listen to that. And do it when your score is high. When your score is low, they're never going to give it to you. Number 3, audience leverage, attention, market, clients, man, relationships. I just want to say it again, so important. No matter what business you're in, continue to stay in touch with everybody that you have in your database and like stay in touch, whether it's putting them into some sort of plan or connection, or we get together once in a while, text them, just some way to stay in touch. I use Facebook as a way to connect with my audience as often as I possibly can. 4, technology leverage. This is AI, robotics, applications. Show of hands if AI is like big name on everybody's list right now. Everybody's thinking AI. This to me, lowest number. I don't care about AI, robotics, or applications. I care primarily about people, money, and audience because that has been the most leverageable for me. And the last one is purpose leverage. This is your vision, your passion, and the impact you want to create in the world. If you do not have leverage on yourself, you'll never be able to leverage other people. If you don't have a big vision, good luck getting anywhere. If you don't even have a vision for your customers, you don't have a vision for where your investors are going to be, or where your sellers are going to be, or where your tenants are going to be, you're never going to be able to build a business that people want to get into. Show of hands if you understand vision and purpose are very, very important. It's hard to motivate yourself when you don't know where you're going. Excellent. All right, so when something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. The famous Elon Musk. 22 years with SpaceX. Here's a fun fact most people don't know about Elon is that he built SpaceX. He started in 2002. So that's 22 years of shooting rockets into space. He did not buy Tesla until 2004. And Tesla was an investment. He did not start the company. He simply invested a large sum of money into Tesla. He built SpaceX, and that's his business. Show of hands if invested in a lot of other things. Just want to clear that up. Tesla was an investment. The solar company that his brother runs was an investment. SpaceX is where his heart is. And the Boring Company is another company that he invested in, but he started SpaceX. It's an important nugget for all of us. One thing, invest in other things. Do your main thing, invest in other things. Jim Rohn said an investment in your personal development is the best investment you can make. And I'm going to share with you now wealth stacking. Show of hands, that's a lot already. Have I over-delivered already? Tremendous knowledge. Yes, I told you I would. Let's go. Duncan promised. All right, wealth stacking. What do you start with? Different types of income. I want to review this very quickly because I get asked the question, hey, man, I got like $1,000. What should I invest in? Or they'll come to me, I got 50,000. I got 100,000. What should I invest in? I've answered it so many times. I created this PowerPoint so that I don't have to answer it again. And yet, of course, like names on deeds, I have to come back and revisit this philosophy. So let's do it together. If you have less than $1,000, invest in books, attend local networking events, and get as much education as you possibly can. It's really important to build your network, especially if you don't have money, because just the ideas and hanging around people with money, hanging around people with businesses, hanging around people who have some sort of success will really level you up. And as we saw the Boston RIA tonight, joining that membership, I think it's $300, is, to me, I would say the best investment that I made back in 2015, 16, or 17, whenever I started buying into the Boston RIA, because that's where I met Rich Foreman, right? Rich, you remember the 24 condos, right? So I walked on stage. I had 900. I had a 24 condo building under agreement, and I said, "Hey, I got 24 condos to buy them for $840,000. I'm looking for 300,000." Rich came up. He's like, "Dude, like, I love this. I used to invest with Tom, so another relationship I had in common with him. He invested with my mentor." So he said, Tom used to have this investment strategy. Do you have it? I was like, yeah, same exact thing. He was like, wow. All right. So he said, I'll be at your office. He came down, met me at my office, saw one of the buildings we owned, and was like, scratched the check. And then now I just jump on the phone with Rich every so often to say, hey, we're still paying, we're still doing stuff. So let's give Rich Foreman a round of applause. Let's give the Boston RIA a round of applause. My membership at the Boston RIA gave me the right to talk about my deals. I got to go in front of the stage, talk about my deal. I was on stage for like 30 seconds, and that made a connection with Rich. There were two other gentlemen in the room that I met that I've stayed in touch with and still do deals with today because I met them at the Boston RIA. And that condo, I met at another RIA. I met at the Rhode Island RIA. I met the person who brought me the condo was at the Rhode Island Investors, Rhode Island REREG. So there's like two. So when I'm like, when people ask me what membership should I get, all of them, and then show up, network, meet the people. I got the deal from Rhode Island. I drove to Boston. I got partners from Boston, and then I went back to Fall River and I did the deal, and I paid my partners and I paid off my my wholesaler who brought me the deal. Relationships are really important. So if you have less than $1,000, please focus on relationships, focus on knowledge. There's a great book that I would suggest everybody reads, Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you've already read it, there's another book called The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy. Get that book. What a fantastic book for anybody looking to ever get into multifamily. All right. Next, the 1,000 to 10,000. Again, invest in your education, invest in your network. Stay away from Bitcoin, stay away from the stock market. You don't have enough to do anything meaningful. You really need to educate your brain. If you are going to invest in the stock market with $1,000, do it in small amounts just to learn the philosophy of the market and then hold so you can get an idea of what the stocks are doing. But please understand, nothing in the stock market could ever get you from $10,000 to $1 million. It would need a 10,000 times increase for that to happen. Show of hands, we're gonna say it doesn't happen. That's just doesn't happen. It's not real. You can't build a business on it. So when people say, "Oh, well, 1,000 to 10,000, should I invest in Bitcoin?" The answer is absolutely fucking not. No. Invest in your education and then go buy real estate. Show of hands, we grasp that simple philosophy. Invest in a business, right? Go do marketing, learn sales, invest in a bit, something, do something to learn income, to increase income. So Benjamin Franklin said an investment education always pays the highest returns. So when you're in the below 10,000, I believe education is the only thing you should be working on, and your network, which is a form of education. Get around mentors, get around people who are doing deals, and read, watch videos. Just be very, very careful that you don't go into too many different directions, because a confused mind says no. And you want to be careful. There's a lot of gurus, a lot of people creating courses. Look at people who've done deals close to your market, as close to what you're looking to do as possible. Look for mentors in your market as close to your market as you humanly possibly can, except for when you're looking to learn sales and marketing, in which case you're going to need people outside of your market, because your local mentors are not going to teach you how to steal their deals. Show fans who understand how that works. Yeah. All right. So Richard Branson said, having a good network can be invaluable. It opens doors for you and allows you to enter into opportunities that are beneficial to your business. It's so true. It's been transformative for me. So at 10 to 25,000, my suggestion is still invest in your education and invest in your network. But at 25,000, you're starting to get to the tipping point. You're starting to get to the point where, and I would say a decade ago, I would have done it a little sooner, but because of the prices of real estate in Boston, you got to wait a little longer. You got to get a little bit bigger of a nut. Inflation is kind of like that. So Warren Buffett said you have to be able to communicate in life, and probably schools underemphasize that. If you can't talk to people to write, you're giving up your potential. This is the truth when it comes to negotiations. If you cannot communicate well with the seller, names on deeds will never work for you. But if you learn communication, if you can listen, actively listen to a seller and their problems, and open your heart and aim to solve their problem, you can absolutely do seller financing deals, subject to deals, wraparound mortgages. You absolutely can do partial seller financing, doing full financing. There's a lot of options that come available when you are a great communicator. And it's so important to learn how to communicate with contractors, because, man, they are the least talented when it comes to getting shit done when they say they'll do it. Has anybody ever dealt with contractors? Know what I'm talking about? Man, they're hard. It's work. So you have to over communicate sometimes with contractors and property managers. Now, at the 20,000 to 50,000 range, that's where I believe buying a rental property becomes, you're late. You have to get it done. You have to own a rental property. I would love for each of you to buy an owner-occupied rental property, 3 to 4 units. Use the FHA loan, use a VA loan, and get your feet wet. Just get into something. I know prices are high. I know rents are, not as high as they should be at the moment based on where prices are, but they're coming back up. They're connecting. Even if you lost a little, and I say this in Florida all the time, because property manager once, he asked me, he said, bro, how much should you cash flow in Florida? And I looked right at him. I laughed, because we're in a room with like 70 people. And I said, you should lose about $200 a month per door in Florida, because Florida is a hot market. Things are overpriced. The rents aren't high enough. In Massachusetts, you should make about $100 a door. You should make money in Massachusetts, especially if you're out in markets like New Bedford, Worcester, Brockton, Fall River. You get about 45 minutes out from Boston, and it becomes significantly easier to cash flow. In Boston, you're looking at appreciation. So it's a great appreciation market. It's a great market to flip. And it's kind of like Florida. If you lose $200 a month per door, that's okay, because you're making it up on the appreciation. Let me just say, I don't buy assets that don't have cash flow on them. So I haven't touched the inside of the Boston market. Show fans, if you understand, I work in tertiary markets. I'm on the outskirts where the cash flow is strong, and I let the appreciation happen only when my portfolio is strong enough. So your first rental property, somewhere around 25,000 to 50,000. The next 50,000 to 100,000, buy a rental property, continue your education, continue networking. At 100,000 to $250,000, buy another rental property, continue your education, continue networking. Show if anyone understand, I have not said stocks yet. I have not said crypto. I've not said anything other than invest in your knowledge, your network, and buy rental property. If you are really good at business, you can substitute rental property for business. I am a strong component or strong advocate for building businesses and buying businesses. And I own businesses myself, and I absolutely love the cash flow that comes off of them. And I will say they're a little bit harder to manage than real estate. Real estate's a lot easier to plug and play. If the property manager sucks, I just replace them. If a manager sucks, I have to go create things on Indeed, then I have to train that. There's a lot more work involved in business. Show fans are familiar with the differences. Real estate's a significantly easier business to manage, which is why for beginners, I say get into real estate. And the Robert Kiyosaki, who I think recently lost his mind, he went through a divorce, but for the longest time, somebody I really looked up to, He said, real estate investing, even on a very small scale, remains a tried and true means of building an individual's cash flow and wealth. This is the truth. And Bezos, who's, I mean, damn, look at that haircut. What a smart guy. He said, if you don't understand the details of your business, you are going to fail. So it's really important for us to understand, if we are in business, how to cash flow the business, how to get it to pay us. If it doesn't profit, it's not a business. And then Uncle Trump said, real estate is at the core of almost every business. And it's certainly at the core of most people's wealth. In order to build your wealth and improve your business smarts, you need to know about real estate. Show of hands if we agree with these smart people. Yeah. Jen's like, no, I hate that guy. Well, forget his political beliefs. Forget his dating scene. Forget a lot of stuff about him. He said a smart thing about real estate. All right. 5 skills to gain mastery over yourself for financial freedom. The first is discover your purpose, what inspires you to build wealth. For me, it was my child long before I had my child. So if you don't have kids yet, they could still be your kids that don't exist. And if you have kids, I would double down on that. Make that your purpose. Make legacy wealth for them your purpose. Next, network and development. This is the second skill that is required for building wealth in real estate. Network development, attract people who align with your purpose and your business. Number 3 skill, communication, influence, and selling, one-on-one and one-on-many. These are important skills that we must master in order to be more successful in real estate investing. Noticing I'm not saying evaluating deals. That's a minute skill. It's a minor skill. Submitting offers, a minor skill. It's what realtors are for. You can send ask a realtor to go submit an offer. That's what Sarah is for. Literally send Sarah a deal and she'll go and do the offer for you in Boston. And the next one, the fourth one, is business skills. This is finance, marketing, leadership, and management. If you can learn these 4 skills, I don't have too much concern for your future financially, especially leadership, because leadership and finance, leadership and marketing and management will create customers for you. The 5th one is real estate investing for financial freedom. Focus on multifamily and focus on portfolios. And over the next 6 years, I will say portfolios even more so than multifamily, because landlords who've acquired real estate over the last 20 to 40 years are looking to get rid of these ugly, weird portfolios that have 6 single families in them, 4 3 families, a 24 unit, and they put it on the market as 50 units. And then the investors look at it and they say, oh, I thought this was like all in one building. So if you've heard this already or can imagine this. Yeah. So those portfolios tend to sell for less than they're actually worth. And so it's a great opportunity for real estate investors to get into it and buy it. And also, banks have a hard time with weird portfolios like that. So sellers tend to be more flexible around how they sell it to you. They'll offer seller financing. They'll offer additional services to make sure that the loan works all the way through. Maybe even doing the refinance for you and then selling you the LLC. Well, it wouldn't be considered a sale. It'd be considered putting you on the LLC. Show of hands if you understand. No credit needed. Just swap right on. Not a strategy I suggest, because you'd be hit with a monster tax bill, because all the capital gains go with the LLC, not with the owner. Show of hands, we got a ton of value tonight. Yes. Do I have permission to tell you about an awesome event coming up, even if it costs money? Is it all right if I? Oh, okay, I'd like to make sure I got permission. I think there's an affiliate link as well. So Duncan, if you can drop the affiliate link to the summit. Every year I do a summit, and yeah, follow me on Facebook. By the way, I said I would show you pictures of my son. Here he is doing yoga with daddy. Check that out. We are doing some daddy yoga. I'm trying to teach him real estate investing, but he's still just trying to hold his head up. So starts at the beginning, start small. We also recently went and did a baby massage. So I know how to wash the child under the neck. He's got this nice flabby section. He has no neck. It's just flabby. And I just kind of clean underneath that. So very professional work down there. You can see he's quite the aristocrat himself. And more recently, this is my why right here. My financial freedom was always so I could spend every moment with this little guy while he's developing. And see, he doesn't really like the pool, but when daddy's there, he's all about it. He's totally cool. He's like, I don't like the water in my ears, but Dad, I guess if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. Let's give Emerson a round of applause for keeping me motivated. All right. So the summit is no pressure. 42 days away. 42 days, 11 hours, and 30 minutes and 48 seconds. But who's counting? And what is the summit? So the summit is an event where we bring 200 to 400 real estate and business owners together in a room, and we focus solely on cash flowing activities. In fact, I wear the shirt. The point is not to work, it's to generate income, because that is the philosophy behind the summit. There's a lot of real estate focused events out there, but they just focus on evaluating deals. They just focus on markets or strategy. For me, real estate has never been about evaluating deals. It has been about acquiring assets that generate income, because the point is not to work, it's to generate income. So we're going to be reviewing what it takes to be successful in real estate, and we're going to be putting a business plan together on day one. Now, why would we build a business plan? Everybody knows that business plan is useless. Who here's heard that business plans are not worth what they're printed on? Has anybody heard that? The truth is that that's a common belief system. The stats show that a business plan makes you increases your income by 34%. That is a statistic. You can Google it, you can chat GPT it, and it will tell you that businesses that have a business plan increase their income by 34%. And the reason we're going to do the business plan is because my goal is to help you become a millionaire. So I'll be focused on generating income and revenue over the entire weekend. So build a business plan on day one. I give you the millionaire contract. The millionaire contract is designed at helping you remember that it's worth fighting for. The contract is a self-contract. I stole this from the fitness industry. They say if you sign a self-contract in the fitness industry, you're 20% more likely to lose weight. I said, my people aren't trying to lose weight. They are trying to lose belief systems, and they are trying to increase their income. So we went and we started implementing it 4 years ago. And once we started, we had a 20% increase in a person's likelihood of financial freedom. Show of hands if you're okay if I use other people's systems and it works in money. If it works in weight, it works in money. It's very interesting because the mind goes and buys property. So we're focused on increasing income. Over the summit, we're focused on acquiring assets that increase income. We'll be talking about sales. We'll be talking about marketing. We'll be talking about motivation, getting yourself to do things. Vinny Chopra, my mentor, was going to be there, and he was going to talk about the silver tsunami, the baby boom generation, how to serve them residential assisted living. And I just found out that he is getting his knee replaced in 11 days. And so he doesn't think he'll be able to be there. So he actually sent me his entire talk, and he's been training me every Thursday from now until the summit to make sure that I can present his talk for him. And he's recording a 5-minute video for us. Show fans, if you understand, I'm going to do it as good or better than Vinny ever could, because he's training me to do so. This is my beautiful, amazing wife, who's now the mother of my child. But guess what? She looks exactly like that. And by the summit, oh, there she is on the screen. And there he is. Give Doreen a round of applause. She looks amazing there. She looks amazing here. Seriously, like 6 weeks after he came out, she was doing yoga and in the gym, and she looks exactly the same as she did before. Except she's happier now because she's got that little guy all the time. And so what am I offering tonight? I'm not offering you cheap tickets. I'm not offering you back of the room, $200. Tonight, we're talking about VIP. This is the ticket for the very important person. This is front row tickets. There are only 40 of these. Some of the benefits are that, well, yes, you get to sit in the front and second row in front of the event. Some people don't like front row. Those people don't get VIP. VIP front row means you're taking action. It means I'm looking at you the whole time. We're interacting. It means whatever I say, you have to pay attention the whole time. Sometimes people go to events, they sit in the back and they forget everything. The people who sit in the front remember absolutely everything because they're stuck. If they move, the speaker's like, hey, where are you going? So the VIPs get a better result. Also, VIPs have 4-day access. We're showing up 1 day in advance for leadership training solo with me and my consultants. My business consultants will be there with us for a full day doing a workshop on scaling your business. Only 40 people in the room. We're breaking out into breakout rooms with my 5 business consultants, and we're just going to drive into your specific business and talk about scale. We're talking about culture, leadership, scale, functionality of a business to make more money. Show fans, you understand, it's not for everybody. VIP is intense. VIP is for the players. It's for the people who really want more. This is for the people who are going to the next level. We're going to get a workbook. Everybody gets a workbook. You're going to get access to the ceremony. Everybody's got access to the ceremony. VIP gets a cocktail connection with me and the other speakers. So the speakers who will be on stage, you actually get to hang out with us and get to know us, get selfies with us, get pictures with us. One cool thing that I do only for the VIPs is the $1 million will be there with us. So the $1 million will be on stage. Not on stage. I used to do it on stage. I thought that was tacky. So now we only do it inside the VIP room, and you get pictures with the $1 million. Now, you don't have to post these pictures on social media, although I love that. You only use these as a vision board for yourself to say, hey, this is what my net worth of $1 million invested in whatever asset I choose is going to look like. And every year, you go back to that picture and say, okay, now I'm going to invest $1 million into this asset. Now I'm going to invest $1 million into this asset. Who's heard of the power of vision boards and pictures? It's even more powerful when you have a picture of yourself instead of a picture of somebody else having the thing. And it's a tool I've used. That $1 million behind me cost me $800. People thought I was crazy. Nah, man, that's how I manifested my money. I had to come in. I do what's called paper therapy. I just count it. I weigh it. I see what does this feel like? What does it become? And before you know it, I actually manifested the multiple millions of dollars because I believed it was possible. I knew what it looked like. So VIPs get limited access to the brand backpack. Let me see. There's only 40 of these. Now, VIPs don't buy the VIP ticket for the backpack. Show of hands if you agree. We don't buy it for the swag. That's not the reason. We don't do it for the backpack. We don't do it for the cup. We don't, the thermos, that's not going to change my life. We don't do it for the thermos. We don't do it for the sweet VIP lanyard. Everybody else is walking around general lanyards. We don't do it for the sweet VIP lanyard. We don't certainly buy VIP tickets for the swag, for the t-shirt that says, I'm an alchemist, I'm Alchemist Nation. The reason people buy VIPs is because they know that they're very important people. And the other people who bought VIP and who are networking, getting the free lunches and getting the free lunch, getting the conversation with us are the best people in the event. They're the people who believed in themselves enough to buy VIP as well. If I have permission, would it be okay if I shared a video from last year? Everybody like to see what the summit is like? Awesome.
People that show up to Alchemist Nation are just the most friendly, truly helpful, genuine people. They have the right mindset. The most value is just meeting the people here. I get a ton of value from the people on stage, but I'm most excited about the people sitting in the audience.
You have to come to this event because it is absolutely life-changing. The information given here is invaluable. Best weekend spent, hands down.
I was tired of being the smartest guy in the room, and that wasn't a problem here. Walter brought so much value, him and Darina, to put this event together that I felt obligated to go ahead and do the mastery program because I learned so much this weekend that I felt I could build on that. And that's after being a mortgage banker for 25 years.
Notice he's a VIP.
Actually have to it and can show you how to do it and are willing to show you how to do it. I personally wanted to come to the summit to add more value. We're starting to buy investment properties and we just wanted to move faster.
Definitely recommend coming to a summit like this so that you can discover a part of yourself that you didn't even know you existed, so you can do better, be better for yourself, for your family, and for your community.
The network, the community, for me, the number one value, because it's so hard to find all of these different people that are here in one setting. You have to do so much work, and Walter and Darina and the whole team at Alchemist Nation have already done all that work for you.
100 million summit blows my mind. The people here are not like any other summit. They're trained, they're professional, they're incredible. And if you really want to learn stuff, this is the place to be.
What is the cost of missing all those opportunities? What is the cost of not going after the $1 million dream?
This community that Alchemist Nation is, it's beautiful. All these different people that are there to support you, and I'm glad I came. I thought 6 figures was successful, but then when I'm in the room with people making millions and multi-millions, and some people here with a multi-billion-dollar portfolio, you want to have good people around you that push you to do better. Or the biggest takeaway I got from this is believe in yourself and make sure you hang around the right people.
I brought my wife, I brought my 3 children because they're just a part of everything that I do. This community is not just business associates. This community is not just about making more money, although that does happen by default. they're real people and they really, really care. They're powerful, they're caring, and they really are invested in the individual's growth because the strength of the individual is the strength of the community and vice versa.
I also discovered Alchemist Nation about 3 years ago. Walter is not just every single guru. He's a guy that cares in him. And that's why you come to the summit to learn what's within so you can achieve what's without.
You need to come here because Alchemist Nation wants to help you level up and get you to the next level, no matter what it is you're doing. They're here for you.
Purpose, life, discovering what it is. What are the gifts that you have? And that's what's really been drawn out by Alchemist Nation is learning more about myself.
It's so huge and it's well worth it. And of course, as you continue to grow, you can grow with the community. And, you know, everybody wants you to be able to elevate because we all want to lift each other up. We lift each other up.
This is an opportunity for me to be able to get into a situation where I position myself to be a millionaire. Gotta go, gotta do whatever I gotta do to get there.
The reason why I came back this year is because I realized last year that Alchemist is extremely good. They attract people that actually are willing to take action and apply the things that are taught, and they keep showing up every single time.
Definitely, I found a lot of value in the speakers and the energy of the whole event.
Vinny is a very down-to-earth person. Vinny is a billionaire with a B, not an M, a billionaire.
A lot of the coaches are bringing aha moments constantly. I can take that now and not only apply it to as being a realtor, but also everyday life.
Listen, mortgage bankers, I showed up to a landlord association group in Tampa. The mortgage seat was not filled. They had no sponsor. I didn't hesitate. I actually interrupted Walter and came up and jammed him with the check. I was ready. You're crazy if you don't sponsor your local group.
You have to come to this event because it is life-changing.
Let's give all my millionaires a round of applause. We built 31 millionaires over the last 4 years. We start the clock at the summit, and then we work all through the year to help our community members level themselves up. But when I make a statement like that, maybe let me be very clear. Most people who start the programs, start the summit, do not become a millionaire in the first year. So fans, you understand, it's a long-term commitment. The summit is the beginning. We work hard throughout the entire year, and every year people level up. So that gentleman, Ken Ingram, who was talking about him being a mortgage broker, he jumped into the summit after being a sponsor for one of our events. And then he bought into the Mastery program, which is a real estate investment program. And he, within 6 months of joining Mastery, he went and bought a 19-key hotel, his first real estate investment, bought a 19-key hotel for $1.7 million with partial seller financing, 20% seller financing. He financed the rest of the deal and he brought 10% down payment. That was $178,000 he brought, which is less than $200K. And he made $2 million in equity on that purchase. Now we thought it was going to be 1.3 million, but after he owned the hotel and had been operating it for 3 months, he discovered that the seller had lied on his taxes and there was a lot of cash coming into the business. And so his valuation went even higher because of after purchasing the property, he went and did the reevaluation, and then it was worth almost $3 million, $3.2 million. Cool story. Saeed Khan obviously came to the summit, went through some of our programs, and in 18 months, purchased and acquired real estate. He had a net worth of about $250,000. After 18 months, he had a net worth of $1.5 million. 18 months of working with us, 18 months from the point of the summit, moving forward, $1.5 million. I share my best stories. Look, there are people who've come to the summit and they built businesses. They became financially free. And they said to me, Walter, look, I'm not here to be a millionaire. I just want to never work again. I want to do something that I enjoy. I just want to be passionate about what I'm doing. I don't care if I never make more than $100,000. I just want to do it in a way that I like doing it. Obviously, that disappoints me, but these are my friends. These are people in our community. So if your goal is, I'm kidding, Jen. It doesn't really disappoint me. I don't give a shit. Like you enjoy your life. I love that you love what you're doing. I love that you're still in the community and working with us. And regardless, and by the way, Jen will buy a piece of real estate next year. She's already promised me. She's going to buy a 4-family somewhere in Chelsea or somewhere in Boston. She's actively hunting, and I think it's a good chance that Sarah Ibram's going to be her realtor if Cliff Hippolyte doesn't move his ass. So let's give Jen Sullivan a round of applause. She's been in the mastermind for a long time. Cliff Hippolyte's in my mastermind. Who else is in my mastermind who's on the call today? Let me look around the room. And so the tickets to the summit, did you drop a link for us? Yes. All right. So please use the Boston RIA link. I have been a member of the Boston RIA for 6 or 7 years. They have absolutely transformed my life. And if I can pay them anything, anytime you buy tickets to the summit, I give them 50% of everything that you purchase. So to me, I'd rather you buy it tonight, use their link, mostly just to pay it forward for the mission. I believe in the Boston RIA. I believe in the National RIA. And I believe that members really, really, really have the greatest chance for success. So I want to make sure that you're using this link tonight. And if you do buy in the future, please use the Boston RIA link. Please save this link. Please use this link. For everybody who's already a VIP member, I know Cliff Hippolyte's already a VIP member. Let's give him a big round of applause. Cliff! Cliff, give us a share, man. You just came down to train the trainer with us. You are killing as a real estate investor. You're killing as an agent. You've been in Alchemist Nation for years. And you run our Brockton real estate investor meetup every single month. So tell us a little bit about your experience with Alchemist Nation and the summit.
So last year I met Walter at the summit. It was my first time there. Absolutely amazing experience. Walter and I actually are sharing the same experience right now with our child. I have a 10-month-old, so it was a great time to start. And once I joined the program, you talked about BS beliefs earlier. It eliminated some of those that I had. You know, I've been an investor for about 7 years, but once I've been through that program, now I'm doing like 4 flips at once, which I didn't think it was possible. So it's all about mindset. So definitely great program. I recommend it. I will be there VIP next month. Very excited about it. Have a few people come in. So looking forward to it. Thanks, Walter.
Welcome, bro. Let's give Cliff Hippolyte a round of applause. Cliff, remember, like all the members of our community, your testimonial means everything to me. So stay being successful. I don't want any bad reputation out there. So your success is the most important thing to me. Let's get another share. By the way, this is the time for questions. So first to unmute wins. Was this a valuable training? Did we get a lot of value out of it? Excellent. Did I sell something that is valuable? Something that you believe would be valuable for this community? Excellent. I believe that if we're going to sell, it needs to be more valuable than what we're paying. Anytime we're offered an opportunity, if I'm giving you $1,000 opportunity, I think that's a $10,000 or $100,000 opportunity for you. In fact, Larry Steinhaus. Does anybody know who he is? Larry Steinhaus, the speaker, the author, the coach who wrote the book, Money Hacks. Larry Steinhaus came to the summit last year. And at the summit, he locked down a deal from somebody he met in the room at the summit. He locked down a mobile home deal. And he closed it this last month, and he made over $600,000 from closing a mobile home deal. He wrote the book, Money Hacks, but he testifies at the summit. He's like, dude, I went to the summit. I locked down a deal. I made money. He's like, I came to your event and I made money at the event over the weekend. He just closed the deal though. It took him a while to close it, but really wild testimonial. Go ahead. I see you unmuted. Go ahead, Gio.
It wasn't me.
Awesome. Yep. First to unmute wins. And this is questions on the wealth stacking slide, questions on the summit, questions on leverage, questions on investing. Pick your poison. Because remember, you've only got me for like 12 more minutes. Unless Duncan wants to stay on forever, in which case I got all the time in the world. My son's up right now, so he's going to be up for a little while. How many more minutes? Well, bring him over here. He'll enjoy some question and answer with me. Sarah, go ahead. What was your biggest takeaway as a realtor who is also investor friendly? What would you say is a piece of advice you'd give to investors? Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, I just wanted to say, did you mention where the summit was?
Oh, snap. That's the best part. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. The summit is October 18th to the 20th. Except for VIP members, we show up on the 17th. It is in Orlando, Florida. So let me tell you where you don't want to be in October. Boston. When October hits and it starts getting a little chilly and it starts getting a little cold, it's about time to take a 3-day trip down to Orlando, learn for the weekend, network, build your business, remind yourself what financial freedom feels like. It feels like palm trees. It feels like being able to drive over to Disney. It feels like warm air, warmth, and take the time for yourself. Definitely take the trip. Also, one of the reasons we escape from New England and we escape from the West Coast during this 3-day weekend is to get outside of our comfort zone, to get outside of where we normally hang out and feel comfortable. So the 3-day event, it's a lot easier to transform when you don't have all the responsibilities of home. When you don't have the kids there, you don't have the neighbor calling you. It's just a lot easier to do things when you're out in a separate space. So Orlando, Florida, at the
Thanks, Stu.
Florida Hotel. Thank you, Kelly. Go ahead, Sarah.
I think I liked very much the wealth stacking slide. It's very, I feel like it's very precise and it has like structure in it. It's not like random because a lot of people, and especially the early stages, like I think you can easily find someone who has like maybe $50,000, right? And then they start like, okay, where would I go? Stock market. Okay, well, crypto, okay, well, what do I do? Right. And then you don't do anything.
That's the problem. People don't do anything. And you can buy real estate with $10,000, $20,000. Like it's possible to do it really early on. I've just found sometimes deals go sideways in the beginning. You need that little extra renovation or you need credit cards you can put things on. So 25,000 is a really a good, comfortable number to have in the bank account. And I think it's a good goal for all of us to have 6 figures, right? Set it as a goal. It's, I wasn't investing with 6 figures in the beginning. I had $8,000 about my first house, but it was my money. I'd saved it. I learned the skill. So thank you, Sarah.
And it helped to get you where you are today. If you had just left them there and you just kept watching them, eventually they would have went down, not up, most likely.
Girl, I thank you. Let's give Sarah a round of applause. Oh my God, you're right. In 2008, I bought my worst deal ever. I bought the worst deal ever. It was my first house, 2008. But I stayed in the game, right? Now it's been 16 years of real estate investing. If I'd quit at any point, I wouldn't be here today. So even if your first deal isn't the best deal, like I say it all the time, first deal is the worst deal. Just you got to do it. You got to get past the first one. You got to get past the second one. You got to get past the third one. And as you keep going, it starts getting better. You start getting more talented. My best deal was 2019. Those condos, to this day, my best deal. Although the 35 units I just bought in Illinois starting to look really damn good. It's like I bought 35 units for 1.4 million, and they are now pulling in gross rents of about $25,000 a month. But by the end of this year, they should be closer to $29,000 a month. And it's what an amazing, yeah. So I would say I didn't have access to that deal until I'd done all the other deals before it to learn to get to that next level. Such a good share. What a good question. And what a good share. Thank you. Let's take another 2 or 3 questions before we jump. And Jen, I pick on you all the time. Give us a share. I mean, you're here, right? You're here. You're a real estate investor who's been in the community for 4 or 5 years now. You've seen a lot of trainings from me. You've probably memorized everything I've ever taught. What did I teach different tonight that you've maybe not heard in a long time or was different? I'm sorry about Donald Trump.
I'm sorry about him too. It's different. I mean, one of the things I love about coming to any of your things is that, I mean, yeah, I've been here, I've been in your community, in our community for over 4 years. And I do whatever I can to support and help you because I believe so much in your mission. And you guys are wonderful people, except for the Donald Trump thing, but you and I can discuss that later. It's a long story. That one's a long one. But you're always so engaging and Okay, that's fine. There he is. No, you're always so engaging. You always have people's best interest at heart. And that's just the reason I keep coming back. Oh, look at those good little cheeks.
Oh, look at these. Come on. He loves Q&A. This is like his favorite time. He'll just sit here as long as I keep him standing. He does not want to lay down right now. He's at that age where if he's not sitting up, he's not happy. Also, let's give Jen Sullivan a round of applause. Awesome share. Glenn Hazard, good to see you, brother. Unmute the mic, my man.
Hey, congrats. Good to see you guys. Sorry I'm late.
Better late than never. When did you jump in?
Just now, I just slipped my mind. I was checking my emails and I saw the Zoom link. I was like, oh, so I just come on, bang.
All right. Well, in that case, Glenn, are you a member? Are you still an active member of the Boston RIA?
Speaking of that, I have to renew. So I technically I'm not. So
Okay, get your renewal because Duncan's gonna post this video for everybody inside the membership area. So you'll actually get to watch. And I killed it today. My own personal opinion. We did wealth stacking. We did names on deeds. We went through the 7 types of money. We talked about financial freedom, the strategy to get there, the 5 types of leverage. I over delivered as Duncan asked me to. So,
well, you always do.
That's right. Thank you, brother.
Glenn, have I been mispronouncing your name this whole time? I always said Hassard.
There's different ways.
Is it Hassard or Hassard?
I've always said Hazard.
Oh, okay.
But it's because of my job. Try to not say Hazard. Technically, I think it's pronounced as Hassard. It's a British name, believe it or not.
Hassard.
And so, but
yeah,
Hazard,
hey,
asshole,
do you still
whatever.
own those
You know what I mean?
properties? Do you still own those properties in Indiana?
I do. I only have one in Indiana, but I have 2 in Alabama. I have one here. I haven't bought any more just because the market's been really up. That's what I say too.
I
So,
like it, brother.
and then someday your oldest will be 20 years old and going to school.
That's the goal, man. Who knows? He might not even need school. He's gonna be 20 years old, running businesses, running corporations, having tutors come to him.
Goes like this. Yeah, so here I am. It's been a pain in the butt I just have issues with lenders and stuff. So I'm trying to get them. They're still in my name, so I'm trying to get them out of my name.
Glenn, we got to get you in the mastermind, brother. Get on a call with Cliff. Get on a call with somebody in the mastermind already, Coach Gio. One of them who's already in there, and just ask them about it. Like,
right.
We got 84 lenders. We don't have money issues.
I will.
You got it, brother.
Awesome. Yeah.
And then give Boston RIA a cut. We're gonna give Boston RIA a little cut because Duncan's taking care of us. What else? What else? Shares or questions or thoughts on financial freedom? You can give me your opinions if there's something that you think that is really important that we didn't talk about this tonight, or if there's any questions, if there's anything in the back of your head that you're like, man, okay, like he said a lot of great ideas, but I'm not sure if this will work for me. Let's get that out of the air now while I'm still here. Well, I still got this guy awake because mom just said he's got to go to bed in a little bit.
This is your chance, people, the last 3 minutes to rack his brain with questions to stop that should I or shouldn't I. We're down to 2 minutes to go, so ask away.
Go ahead, Glenn.
Have you, I don't know if it's me, but personal credit issues have been an obstacle. Have you experienced that in your?
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Yeah, so I had to look at my personal credit about 4 years ago, and I really addressed the challenge that it presented was what you just said, personal credit. And so we started developing business lines of credit. And this year I just got my credit score up to 826. And I just went and shifted and created 3 different Chase accounts Amex accounts for my 3 different businesses, so that now that my credit's all cleaned up, the businesses now can increase their credit lines. Instead of it always coming back to me every time we do a mortgage, it's now associated to the business, which also goes back to my philosophy of 1 transaction a year. I don't have to worry about, if I'm doing 2 or 3 purchases in a year, that sucks on my credit. But if I'm doing 1 big purchase, or even if I'm doing the purchases via hard money or seller financing, then do 1 big refinance of a portfolio loan, it takes away the problem of having all those transactions on your mortgage pulls.
Right.
That kind of the space you're looking at, or is it a different side of the credit line?
Well, it goes back to the issues I've had with lenders. Because right now, I guess the biggest issue is the fact that properties I do have, because they're in my name, that it's all against my DTI, my debt to income ratio. And so it's been killing my credit. I finally got one lender who's he's taken one of my properties because and I wanted to get all of them into like a blanket loan, but when they're in different states, you have to do it separately in each state. So the one I have here in Boston, I'm getting a lender finally that can deal with it and he's putting it in an LLC and he's getting it out of my name. That will help.
I would say that you certainly are starting down the path, but you also may want to look at consolidating some of the portfolios. Sell a few 1031, get them all into an area that makes a lot of sense, and then you have them all together. Right now, like if I recall, the portfolio is all single families. There can't be a lot of cash flow there. It's time to trade those singles into multis, or sell a few of them into a single deal, and that'll solve a lot of the problems. In fact, I think I picked on you like 4 years ago in the Boston area in person, and I was like, bro, like, why are you in so many different states? It makes it so much harder, especially just to have 1 single family here, 2 single families here, makes it so much harder. I believe, Glenn, to be perfectly honest, going back to the conversation we had 4 years ago, which I can't believe I remember this. It was so unique. Sell them and 1031 into multifamilies. Richard, absolutely great meeting your son tonight. I'm glad that you guys got to hang out together. So good to see you in person again.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Cheers. Keep up the good work, William. Let's grow.
Sounds
You got a
good.
really good mentor right there. Listen to what he says. Unless he says don't put offers in Fall River, in which case he's wrong.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night, brother.
Well, Walter,
Yeah,
I want to
Glenn.
thank you again for all your time. You've been fantastic. I truly do appreciate all you've done for Boston and you continue to do for it. I am so happy that you've had your first child, and I wish you many, many more. Drina looks fantastic, and being the doting mother she is. And it's great. You guys are super. Guys, really come on down to Orlando. It's close to Universal. Bring the whole damn family down, They go to Universal while you sit and study, or better yet, bring them into the meeting with you. Get 4 tickets to the summit. The best way, I've always said, yes, your network is your richest I'm lost for words here, but it's your power. Your network is your power, and you have to be together with people with a single-minded purpose to be successful, because there's too much noise and other going on. So you need a group to support you, a community, and community is so much more important today than it ever has been before to be successful. So, become a VIP, because you are a VIP. So why don't you just claim it? Buy the damn ticket. It's a tax write-off. It's a no-brainer. Take the holiday, have some fun, learn a lesson. Many, many reasons why. You're going to learn a lot of great stuff at the summit. Get your ticket at the discount from Boston RIA link. And I want to hear all good things about people coming next year. Who knows? Maybe I'll even show up. I don't know, but maybe I'll even show up too.
We're in Orlando. You almost have to show up.
Yeah.
What I'll say before we jump off, there's plenty of room at the top.
Yep.
I'll see you at the summit.
All right, guys. And remember, just grab that link in the chat. The link is in the chat. I'll be sending out an email anyway, but get your ticket early because there's only 40 places that exist. And if you want the swag, you got to get the 40. So just get it early. All right, guys. Thank you very much, Walter. Have a good evening.
And remember to
night,
copy
guys.
the chat, everybody. Copy and paste.
Copy the chat, take action now. I'll see you at the summit.